and thank you for coming to watch this presentation tonight. Tonight I'm going to talk about my hike and fly journey and how I became competitive. We're going to have a short break to replenish our drinks. Then we're going to talk about how I won the Tri-Nations Championship using a special formula that was developed. Okay, so why do we fly? Why do we hike and fly? Anyone? Why do we do it for?
Fun.
Choice.
Adventure, in case there's not enough wind.
I like fun. That came out. Excitement, experience, to travel, camaraderie, for adventure. So I'm going to take on a little adventure I did last year in the Alps. We flew from the south of France to Switzerland and over into Italy. And you start off with a team, and this team gets smaller and smaller, and eventually you end up with a couple of you flying ahead of the pack. And you put your tent away, you have your breakfast, you make your way to a launch that you don't even know exists. And then you find it, and it's going to work, it's pointing in the right direction, the wind's coming up the slope, the sun is starting to shine, and it's starting to work. You launch, you go on a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour journey, and then you decide to land somewhere. You land, you set your tent, you get your stove out, and you recount the day's adventure. And that is the ethos of hike and flying. That's what appeals to me. That's what makes it exciting, the adventure. Okay, history then. Where did it all start for me? I started flying with Gordon Oliver and Malcolm Grant, who we've probably all heard, unfortunately passed away. But Gordon and Malcolm, they started my journey. And I always remember the first seed that I used sport was huge. I was on the back of Clough Head, and I'd flown 100 feet, maybe 200 feet off the ground. I landed and I was buzzing. Oh wow! And then I had Gordon over, rock up. All right, Westie, did you enjoy that? That was good. That was really good, that mate. I'm like, oh wow, I'm buzzing. And I said, look up there, Westie. And transiting out of Cumbria over towards the Dales with 2 pilots at about $5 grand. I'm like, bloody hell, how do I get up there? And Gordon gives it, don't worry about that, Westie, all in good time, mate, all in good time. And he's back and off he walked laughing. I was like, wow, I want to do that. So I passed out, sorry, I didn't pass out, I passed my CP. I passed my CP in 2015, and then I got about 50 hours in on that first year. 2016 I qualified pilot, and then I had a talk with the late great Steve Nash. Now, he was an ex-Alps pilot, British pilot, and I had a talk with Pennine, and he delivered a speech. It was awe-inspiring. I went, oh wow, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. His kit was so light. It's like, and he had this harness that had a shelf life of 2 weeks. He could only use it for a competition in the Alps. I went, oh, I want that. It's like, and that inspired me. I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. But of course, 2 years in, and that year I got about 75 hours in. 2017 I attended SIV, with jockey, I did my club coaching course, and I got about 100 hours in. So I'm building up. 2018 jockey re-established the ex-mates hike and fly event. The first one was run by Gordon Oliver in about 2008 and actually won by Steve Nash. I didn't do any flying, it was a long fell race. And they used the 3 peats as a circuit course. So jockey re-established the ex-mates. That was won by Rob Welford, who scored over 50 Wainwrights and again it wasn't that fireable. But these are all clues actually with how I train, so it's all good knowledge to have. About 150 hours that year, so I was buzzing. I just stepped up to a higher wing, Sigma 10, and I was pushing forward. I spoke to jockey and I said, I will go run that again next year. He went, yeah. Now I had something to train for, start the training. So I entered my first hike and fly race, the XLX 2019. Now, I did about 200 hours that year, so I was really ramping it up. So I took part in that event, and I came 9th. Sorry, I came 7th out of 9. I always say I came 7th, don't mention the 9, but it's a good starting point. I'm at the bottom of the pack. You know, you had Greg Hamilton, he had all these other athletes who were far better than me, and you know, they've been flying a lot longer than me. So I finished 7th out of the 9 with a score of about 280, so 280. Rod Welford won it by a country mile. He scored 730 points, so I'm way off. I had an amazing time. I was flying, fell walking, fell running and camping. It was brilliant. And I could talk about this event. There's so much drama in it, you know, and you know, I scared myself to death trying to launch off Great Gable, and I had like 5 minutes to get down to the bottom before cut-off time, and it was foggy and clouds were lifting and falling, and oh, it was really scary, but that's another story. A small consolation for me was that I flew into goal. Flying into goal is always the best feeling ever, even if you come last. It's just something amazing about flying into goal. I ran out of the flight park with Rod. I was carrying 23 kilograms. Rod was carrying 8 kilograms. And I kept up with him, because I was quite fit. I kept up with him for about 3 kilometres. And then I had to let him go. It was painful. So I had 3 times his weight, you know. And I brought these props in just to show you the difference. That's roughly about 23 kilograms. Who's feeling strong and fit? Everyone's pointing over here. So I'll come and put that in your back. I think it's the expression we're looking for here. So I spent 23 hours running around the mountains with that. Oh my God. But can I have another volunteer? We've got a smaller pack here. Anyone? Yeah. Anyone? Go on. You go. Yeah.
Fall backwards with
So that's what I carry now. It's about 7.5 kilograms. So the difference, I mean, look at this guy, it's not even...
Yeah.
Nice.
Easy, isn't it? Easy. So that's the difference what I had in actual weight. Thank you very much.
And what's the difference in value?
Well, you do pay more and you get less for your money because the durability goes down. So,
Bloody hell. That's just like, it's a backpack.
it's a different world, isn't it?
Bloody hell.
It's a different world. So that's how, as you're going to find out, something I had to improve on. Bear in mind, actually, that's full vol bib, so it's a vol bib kit, and that's just a competition kit. Right. So it gives you some idea. Clearly, one needed to do a little bit of analysing and make some changes if I was going to be competitive. So during my time in the military forces, we did a lot of debriefing and analysing operational tours and training exercises, something called TTPs, training, tactics and training and procedures. So this is what I analysed. that's not meant to happen. Right, we've got another technical glitch. Do we need that information? I could probably... Where's all that information gone? Okay. Right, let's roll with it. I'm going to have to... There are only slides actually, so we can probably work through it. But we've missed a whole heap of slides somehow. And I checked this last night, there's all there. Right, we're going to roll it because we're going to lose time, too much time. Alright, so this is what I analysed. I analysed my flying, the fitness, the reconnaissance of a race area, support team, equipment and electronics. So flying then. Flying is so flying, this is one of the most important things, this is what we all love and like doing. So the first thing I looked at in flying was practicing the ground handling. And you always when people are selling wings for example, you know, never been ground handled. You know, and that tells me a lot. Ground handling increases your skill level and confidence. So it's so important to do. And if you can control your wing on the ground, on the football pitch, in different wing strengths, and you get to a hill, it's so easy. You just relax and you pop it up. So ground handling, do basic ground handling on football pitches. Fly use sites around the UK improves your launch awareness and confidence. Get familiar with other areas to fly. Practice launches in all conditions. Alpine launches for light winds and Cobra launches for the strong winds. And this pays off. On the X-Rates 2 years ago, I was on Fairfield Horseshoe. I'll just give you some idea of the strength of the wind. It was gusting from 28 mile an hour to 30. So it was top end on top of a mountain. The A and B comps on the LCC were cancelled because it was too windy. And I flew earlier on in the day from Latchford over to Clough Head and decided to land because it was too dangerous. I then made my way across the Helvell Ridge, but I picked up an injury early on, so I couldn't move fast. I was running out of time. And I had to decide whether to launch or Fairfield. So all these things are going through your head, what you're being taught by the instructors like Dean, or Gorby Oliver, or Jockey Sanderson, you know, should you be flying? So I had a choice to make, and in the back of my head, you have to be flying to win these comps. If you fly, you've got a good chance of winning. And then I thought, it's dangerous. I mean, I'm on top of a mountain, it's gusting, it's windy, what do I do? And then I thought to myself, well, I don't know, I was training. All these hours and hours of training, my skill level was high. You know, and I've been flying for all these years, you know, hiking flying in Scotland, in Wales, taking part in competitions and training. You know, hundreds of hours of training. I thought, if I can't do this, then what's the point of me doing all the training? So I thought, right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to launch. I had the skill, I could do it. I was confident, and I wanted to try it. So I laid out my wing. It's a zero lighter half, so it's lightweight. Laid it out, and the wind just blew it all into a bag of washing. Every time I laid it out. Okay then. So 2 walkers were walking by, so I invited them over to help me out. So there's just a young couple, a guy and a girl, and I got the guy to hold the tip of my wing, and I coiled him up the sounds and asked the young lady to hold them. And time was ticking now, so I had 40 minutes when I started. I had to get down from Fairfield to Grasmere. By the time I was set out ready, I had about 12 minutes left to make go and tag 4 turning points. And then, so the pressure was on, you've just got to be calm. And so I said to this guy, I said, look, what's going to happen now? I'm going to ask you to let go of cells. and then I'm going to give you a shout to let go of the tip of the wing. And I said to him, don't try and help me if things go wrong. Don't try and grab anything or do anything, just keep out of the way, and if I need help, it'll be obvious. The young woman replied to me, like looking up at me, like, is this normal? I went, well, no, not really, but if I pull this off, I'm probably going to win this competition. So we were all like shaking, and I was there shaking, and anyway, so I said, let go, she got out of the way, and I said, let go, systematically. It came up beautiful, Cobra launch came up beautiful. I just turned and ran into it, and went up like this, and penetrated forward. And then I moved down the ridge, tagged the turn points, and landed with about 5 minutes spare. So, that is by practicing your launching and having the skill and confidence, you can do it. But of course, the important thing here, especially with the likes of Malcolm, who was, is risk in what we do. But you've got to fly to your level. It's so important. And I think we all know that. But of course, we're all at different levels, and you need to practice to get to that skill level. Practice side and top landings. I practice on Paragliding hundreds of times, doing dynamic flying, dynamic landing. This paid off. I'll just be quicker on this one. Same day when I landed on cuff head takeoff, everything was going up. It was super strong, but I had to land because I didn't want to fly the Helvell Ridge. It was too dangerous, I thought. And so by landing and practicing these landings, you can land in really tough conditions. But again, you've got to practice. And again, that's something I spent a lot of time doing, practicing in strong winds, landing on the top, coming down dynamically with big wind overs, etc. Okay, practice wing control. I remember I was on Paragliding, and this guy was doing wing overs, etc. And the old guy said to me, this guy here is showing off, you don't show off. And he's quite right, you don't show off. But the thing was this guy wasn't showing off, he was practicing his wing control. And that's important, so you do your wing overs, your 360 reversals, you practice getting to the feel and knowing the wing, and it isn't showing off. It's good training, good skills. Developing your skill and experience in all these areas is fundamental to confident and safe flying. And that's the key there. Safe flying. If you practice all this stuff, it makes your flying safer. That bubble we talk about, safety bubble, okay, it gets bigger because your skill level is bigger. Okay, for sure there's been times I've placed myself in situations that have been challenging, but my skill level has matched the risk, which in turn has kept me relatively safe. Okay, that's a learning point there. So moving on, fitness. I realised early on in the UK, especially in the UK, fitness was essential for hiking and flying. Okay, and that is due to the adverse weather conditions we have in this country. So I knew I was going to be spending a lot of time on the ground, so I had to get fit. So I needed to plan how to do this. And a lot of it is self-discipline, motivation, and having a goal. My goal was training for the hiking and flying. So road running after work, 2 hours every other night. Running and fell walking with weight on the weekends. Often camping out. Strength work on your shoulders, your back, your arms and your legs, weights for having some sort of circuit that is set up just to build up your muscles. I was flying in Colombia this year, and we did 13 straight days flying, 7 hours a day sometimes. But there's a friend who we're flying with, his joints are all aching from controlling he's in pain with his joints and ligaments. And I said, oh, well, this is what I do. I do this training. I build up my arms and back. Oh, yeah, but I don't want muscles. I want to be fit. I want a bit of move. I said, well, you're not just building up your muscles, you're building up strength in your joints, in your ligaments, your tendons. So by doing the training, and I found I was getting fitter and stronger the more flying I did. Whereas a lot of the guys I'm flying with were deteriorating, getting tired.
If you don't mind a question, what training exercise were you doing to keep your stamina for brake control?
Well, that's it. I don't do big weights, I do lots of repetition work. So you do your biceps, triceps, shoulders, lats and deltoids, and then you just build them up. But I don't do heavy, I do endurance type stuff. So I'll do 4 lots of 40, for example, on a lighter weight, and that then builds it up.
Curls and...
Yeah, yeah. Just all the normal stuff you can...
Or pulling in some way.
Yeah, I do pull-ups for open body, that gets you on that sort of stuff, yeah. But yeah, lots of stuff. It's something you can look up and get off the internet. So it's all out there. Flexibility, super important. So you do your training, you finish, you warm up, do your training, and stretch off all your major muscles that you're using, and that keeps you supple. So flexibility is a big part of the training. Core stability for your back. And again, these are all big topics, by the way, and we don't have time to go into them all. However, core stability is activating your little muscles in your back, and there's ways to do that. So I have this routine where I do that 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, training after work and most weekends in all weather conditions is hard work and requires bad or self-discipline, effort and motivation. And of course your partner needs to be on board too, because she suffers a lot with being out training. Okay, so the next one is nutrition. I looked at more nutrition, building up muscle and keeping the calories coming in. So I had a weekly diet, all good food, no processed food, all really good healthy food. Then I had a training diet, so on the mountains I had food that I carried, so I thought about what I was going to do there. Then competition diet, which is virtually similar to the training diet. I tried advanced foods, SIS, proteins and gels. They worked for me. They're expensive, but it did work for me. Some people have a reaction to them stomach-wise, so it doesn't work, but you have to experiment. And I used them to great effect. Something I tried last year was fasting and gut health. So then I added a bit more to it last year with fasting. Now the reason I did that, the year before in the competition, we had something like 22 hours fell running, walking, and about 1 hour flying. And we had a brilliant race with Nick Holt. And I spent about 9 hours in the cloud. So navigation had to be good, etc. And I hit a wall walking up this mountain. And it was awful for about an hour. Just stumbling, dizzy, hypothermic. And it was still maybe had 8-9 hours left of the day. So I hit this wall. And I thought about that, and then I read an article about fasting. So I thought, right, I'm going to try fasting. So I fast, I had my last meal about 6-7 o'clock. My next meal is going to be midday the next day. It's actually quite easy when you get into it. On the Erie last year, I ran about 120 kilometres. Although it's hard work, I never hit any walls. So it might be coincidental, but it definitely, I think, added another string to my bow, fasting. So it's something I considered and tried, and I think it worked.
Did You do that every day.
and it goes away. You can actually, if you wanted to, carry on, but there's no need to because I didn't need to lose any weight, so I had to eat well. The great thing is I could eat what I want when I wanted, and so that was a massive plus. And it got me down to competition weight really easily, so that was important too.
But you're still taking in the same calories in the day, you just loaded them all up in about 4 or 5
That's
hours
right.
a day.
That's right.
Right.
And it appeared to work. However, you know, it's you know, there's other factors too, of course.
Yeah.
Because I had a great training year last year, so that's another factor too.
Do you find yourself going to bed earlier so you don't eat?
Yeah, you do a lot of sleeping. not because you're tired, you know. You sleep well.
Get up at 6 again and we get up at 11 the next morning.
Right, the next thing on the list was reconnaissance of the race area. This is something I brought from the army, the armed forces. Reconnaissance is so vital, you know. So it's time well spent in the army. Time on reconnaissance, time well spent, and it paid off here too. My first dragon that I took part in, I found a house thermal on the recce. I did the weekend before, and me and Danny Starsmore had an amazing race where I was chasing him down, and I was a rookie compared to him, and he was on the D-wing, I was on the Sigma, I think, on the C, and then we had this great comp. But what gave me the edge over Danny is that the area. So reconnaissance, to help learn about the topographical features, so you're learning the area so you can visualise it. Become familiar with the main routes and paths, so of course it helps, it gives you confidence so you know where you're going, etc. And to identify house thermals, and again that's where it helped me with that particular race. But you apply that again in Scotland, you apply that again in Snowdonia, and it just makes life easier for you, and it gives you confidence. So recce is really good. The recce gives the confidence and a much better idea of what can be achieved for your plan. So it's great for planning. Right, support team. To keep the weight down and become super competitive, supporters are a must. And these are some of the things they can do for you. Keep you updated with the race dynamics and other competitors. Advise you on alternative routes if required. So they've been to look at a route for me because I was on the ground 20 k's away and I wanted to check out something, so they can go there and they can recce a route for me. Keep an eye on the changing weather, especially when you see breezes coming in, etc. It can give you an edge. Keep an eye on, they'll carry and make available rations, water, spare clothing and equipment. So you're carrying less equipment. You know, you've got that bag or that bag, and so you know, it just makes your life easier. Watch over your safety, which is probably one of the most important points, but I got it halfway down for some reason. Keep your morale up, so they do, they make you laugh and stuff like that. And a modern day one, keep on top of your social media. Put the stuff out, etc, etc. So I use several supporters to help spread the workload. Because these people, these guys, are giving their time up for you. So they're travelling to Scotland, you know, they're travelling to South Wales, and you know, they have families and partners and lives, and so by spreading the workload out, it just, you know, people work super committed, they can help me out and then have a break, have a breaker. So that is the supporter. The next one is equipment. I was going to say on this slide, I don't know where the hell they've gone, the slides. Oh, there we are. What's happening there? Okay. Right, there we go.
That's alright, just go over it again.
Right, so let's stop, wait for all that. I reckon that slice just jumped over there somehow. Support teams. And that's through me. Equipment. Right, equipment. So I broke a few rules here, but because we're all paragliders and we love equipment, and you'll get away with it. So this is what I fly, zero light, 300 grams. Okay, harness 200 grams, reserve 800 grams, helmet 249 grams. You see going throughout this, get to the bottom and you've got 7.5 kilograms. And that's a magic number, you know. And that's what that weighs there. And that's what you want. So that, again, no food in there, no other stuff, but that's the weight you want it, rather than 23 kilograms. Alright, so that's equipment.
So how would that compare to XLs?
It's not that far off now, considering this can be bought off a shelf. So it's right down there. Steve Nash had to get a harness made, you know, and it wasn't much more lighter than the harness I had, but I got a weightless harness, 200 grams. I mean, it's beautiful. So other stuff that we all forget about, we don't add to the weight, is this one here, trainers, jacket, shoes, waterproof gloves, all that stuff, all adds up. Food, I carry about a kilogram of food. Water, I carry a kilogram and a half of water. And so you've got this figure here, 420. So if I'm all beaming it, I'm looking at another 5.5 grams, kilograms, sorry. But that's including 3 more kilograms of food. Alright, so you see there, tent, super lightweight, MSR, carbon, sleeping bag. These are all lights. In fact, I've got one sleeping bag that weighs about 300 grams, a one season one, if I'm out in the Alps. But all super light stuff, and then, so if I'm ball beaming, that's the sort of way I'm looking at carrying on top of that there. Alright, let's keep up with the script.
What do you reckon your budget is for all that lot, John?
It's
all super light, isn't it?
It's expensive, but you can be savvy. And same what I've done here, this is my last year's kit. I've gone into a Xeno 2, I've got a Woody Valley X-Ray 7, but I didn't buy it all brand new, I bought it second hand. So the that Xeno light I got off Gary Stenhouse with a stripe initially, and I paid half price for it. Got a Xeno 2 in there, and done 9 hours. So some guy bought it, and it's a bit spicy for him. I sold it for half price with 9 hours on it, and it was just immaculate. And you know, so if you're savvy, you get stuff cheaper. X-Ray 7 I got in there, year old, half price.
But as you say, lightweight kit doesn't last as long, so you've
No,
got to be careful, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but you accept that. You accept it because it's part of the sport. If you want to be competitive and you want to try and, you know, get up on the podium, you've got to take a hit somewhere. But you can make it cheaper by buying a second hand. So, you know, it's swings and roundabouts. Right, so flying weight support again is something like 12 kilograms. That's carrying your food and all your watching, you know, and all the other bits and bobs you don't think of. So that's what you're looking at. Krugel Myra, he's down about 9 kilograms, but he's on another level across. Flying weight unsupported vol bib, that's what I'm looking at. I can get it down to. So if I can't recruit a supporter, I'm quite lucky that's not happened lately, but that's what I have for carry. And anything I find over 15 kilograms, it just starts to dig in after 7, 8, 9 hours. And that's only halfway through a day when you're hiking flying. So that's an extra 5.5 kilos, that's what you're looking at for full wall bib, with lightweight equipment that I bought. So again, less durable. Okay, so obviously, pretty obviously, not having to carry all the extra weight gives you an edge over your competitors. electronics. I didn't have this in the first talk because I didn't want to drag out too long, but I thought because I'm taking it around with me, I'll shove this in because people ask you questions. So I carry a Garmin Reach, which you've probably all seen them. This one here I carry, and the beauty of this, it's got all the mapping on. So when it's chucking it down and you can't touch the screen, even though it's waterproofed, and it doesn't work properly, I've got mapping with all the, for example, the lane rights on, so I can still tab, navigate. It's a bit old-fashioned the way you scroll around, but once you get proficient with it, it's really good bit of kit, waterproof and very accurate, and that's what you want. The Garmin Reach. It's also got an SOS activation on the side of it to get you a helicopter, which I've used in anger in Switzerland. I had an argument with a 700-foot cliff, and the cliff beat me. But I managed to hold on and activate the SOS, and the helicopter came out and picked me up. So it works beautifully. If you do get yourself into a little bit of trouble.
The helicopter took you off the cliff.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, on this one, I got on my notes here, Buzz was going to come tonight, who I fly with, Keith Patterson, and he'd tell us a rather funny story. So I hand it over to Bud now. But basically what it says, he's flown ahead of me. I've had this disagreement with a cliff, and tumbled down and stopped myself, so hanging off a cliff. And he calls me up. But when he calls me, I got myself, I was okay. And he asked where I was, and he says, so I'm just on the cliff. He went, what, on takeoff? I went, well no, I'm on the cliff. What, you're calling me? And you're on the cliff? I went, yeah, I tumbled down the cliff and I've just got a helicopter coming out. He went, you answered your phone and you're hanging off a cliff? I went, well yeah. Anyway, but he tells you better than me. But yeah, so it works, so that's the thing. You've got your safety, you've got your mapping, and it works well. I use the iPhone, so Fly Sky High is what I use. I won't go into any of this stuff, but really good bit of kit. And you can, it's really intuitive. If you don't use Fly Sky High, I really recommend it because it's the next generation of software and kit to use. Garmin Explore is what I use for on the ground, so this all connects here with the Garmin in Reach, so it's all talks to each other. EarthMate also talks to that, so I can do text, so if I want to talk to my supporter and no signal, I can talk to them through the Garmin, using the Garmin EarthMate. I carry OS mapping, and relief mapping is really good for if you're in the Alps especially, because it gives you a feel of what you've got to walk on. You see the actual relief on it in 3D, so it's a really good tool. And it has tools to allow you to route plan, which are really good. A lot of the ex-Alps guys use it, and it's a good aid to help with planning and working out routes up big mountains. And Google Maps is all handy. We spend quite a bit of time on the road when you're doing hike and fly, so having Google Maps just to plan your route through the roads is really good. And my Vario XC tracing maps, lightweight, and it carries a file, so you've got a backup file if you need it, other than the Fly Sky High. Lightweight, brilliant Vario, very accurate. Okay then, the journey. So 2019, that's my first hike and fly event. So there I am, 7th. Okay, there's 9 people on it, but I kept it at 7 just to show. So if you look at the journey, then I started off at the bottom of the park with 280. Ron Welford, excellent pilot, very fit, fell runner, very good athlete. Andrew Reid, top, Greg Hamilton, you know these people. These 2 here came over from Italy. so really good pack. So that was my first attempt, 2020 season.
How did the couple work there then? What were they weren't flying tandem, were they?
They were, yeah.
Oh, right.
That's right.
Excellent.
Yeah, but they were a really nice couple, you know. I mean, they were a couple that way. They were a nice couple, as in they were good lads. All right. So yeah, 2019, I had 2 trips to the Alps for the first time. So while living with some friends, which is brilliant. 2020. Yeah, so X-Lakes, there was 21 competitors in the X-Lakes, so I've done a year's extra training now, applying myself with all that stuff that I've done. So I started off at 230 points, I'm now got 647.5, so I've already improved. And I've gone from 7th up to 4th. Andrew Reid, who came 2nd, and Greg 3rd the year before, then I've leapfrogged them. And of course, Rod Welford scores 947, but I've got closer to him. So whatever I'm doing, whatever I've done in that analysis, it's paying off, because this year I've improved, and a lot more competitors too, 21 competitors. I'm just skipping some stuff because I know we're 10 minutes late initially. So I'm just going to go through that. Okay, 2021. So now I've gone from 600 up to 800. I'm still 4th, but this year was I'll tell you something, I won't go back. So on this one here, I took part in 2 competitions. So the X-Lakes and the Dragon. So we've added another competition, and Buzz and I did this together. He sort of came on board with me when I started talking about it, and he wanted to join the team. So we went down to the Dragon, so you have the 2 Pentries, you have all these really good pilots down there, and Danny Starsmore won the competition, and I came 2nd and Bud came 3rd. So it just shows, after a year's training, Bud actually won the have I gone the wrong way there? Sorry about that. Yeah, so Bud actually won it, and there's some great, I mean, these are great athletes. Nick Hull, Douglas Swanson-Moore, Steve Ashley, Dan Starsmore, Steve McIntosh, are all good high-flying pilots. So good pedigree there. And Buzz and I moved up, and Bud also did exceptionally well there. And of course, in the Dragon that year, we did well too. So whatever we were doing, it was working. Okay, so the next one then, we have 30 competitors. Okay, and this is 2022. And me and Nick had this amazing race where we're leapfrogging each other. But if you look on there, you've got Greg Chilton, Steve Ashley, Danny Starsmore, Paul Bingham, and Alan. They're all really good pilots, really fit athletes. You know, train like I do and they play themselves like I do. And so now I've gone from 230 points to getting 840 and becoming joint first with Nick Hull 2022. Just see what I can miss out. Okay, so yeah, it was tough weather that year for the X-Lakes, but again, some of the stories that I told you about Fairfield and Warwickshire, that was that year, so really, really tough conditions. We did the Dragon, did the Excorsia, the X-Erie, and we also did the Bud did the Xpira. Now I was meant to do that, but I had some personal things to sort out at home, so I couldn't make the Xpira. But Bud came 26th in the Xpira, so it shows you that he was above mid-table with the best in Europe, and I would probably be somewhere near, I guess. This year, that year I won the Excorsia, it's a Scottish one, and non-attendance for the XERI because of that personal problem I had to solve. Okay, 2023, moving on. So this was last year. So I've gone from 230 points, and last year 1,880 points.
It's the same scoring system, is it?
Yeah, same scoring system, yeah. So you can see, after a few years of developing and training, using that initial structure that I had, and applying myself, and putting in the hard work, putting in the nights and winter when it's chucking it down, it's cold and wet, and you come home from work and straight out, and putting the time in, it seems to pay off, because this year, I mean, it's a brilliant year for flying, that's why it's so much. The year before we got about 800 odd points or 900 or whatever it was. But this year, you know, we knew it was going to be a good flying year a day, so the guy who flew the best was going to win. And then I was very unlucky that it was me. But that's, I'm going to talk a bit more about that in the next talk. So, if you look down there, you've got, you know, Dave Ashcroft. I know Dangerous Dave, don't we? He's probably one of the best mountain pilots in the country, with regards to the lakes especially. So, you know, you've got some fierce competition there. Greg Chilton, Steve Ashworth, Pete Blake. Andy Housen, he's an up-and-coming guy from Scotland. He's going to be something to look out for. And this guy is a test pilot, I think, for Ozone, who came over. So some really good competitors there. We took part in the Dragon, so other competitions this year, or last year. The Dragon, I came second, Excorsia, I came third. I'm going to talk about that later on, but it's one of the best hike and fly planned and executed races I've ever done. And I only got third. XERI I came second, and X-Dales I got fourth. So I'm winning and I'm on the podium on all the events in the UK. So then, you can clearly see by the stats that by analysing and applying myself to these 7 areas, I have improved my hike and fly skills. I have now become competitive. Any questions?
Where do you think your strength lies most? Is it flying or is it fitness?
Flying, definitely. You've got to be flying. It's something, I missed out some parts there because we lost 10 minutes of the time. But when I was flying, launching off Fairfield and that Cobra, in the back of my mind, I can hear my mate Bud saying, but Westie, you've got to be flying. So the year before, I think Bud won it and Douglas Swanson came second. You know, I should have won that year, but I made a mistake because time was tight. I was actually over Fairfield again, but flying this time, and I was firmly deciding on the route. I could either choose to go to Landale and then fly over to Scarfell and drop into Boot in Estaire where the finish line was, but time was tight, you know. Or if I fly to Landale, if we get onto Limbo Fell, onto Rhinos, then maybe fly up to Scarfell. And but if I don't do it, I know if I land at Landale area, I can run it in time. Because I got fitness to do it. And I chose option 2 rather than the more daring one. And anyway, so I finished and I made it in with like 25 seconds to spare because I had to run over Rhinos Pass and Hardrock Pass. And quite funny, Bud's supporter, his brother, he sort of drove by me as I started to climb rhinos. He went, "Well done, Westie, well done, mate, you're doing brilliant, yeah. Not far now, mate, keep it up. And off he drove, running. I went, "You what? Not far now, I've got to run over rhinos and run over hard nut flats. The two of the biggest passes in the race. Not far, bloody now." You know, I saw a bit more than that, but you can, you know, but I made it, because I knew I could do it, and Bud said to me, "But Westie, you've got to be fine, mate. To win these, you've got to be fine." And he's right, but that's something in the back of my mind now. So when I go up to Fairfield, I heard Bud saying, "Westie, you've got to be fine. You've got to be fine." So flying is so important, because you can make up 20, 30 kilometres per hour rather than 5 or 6, 7, 8 k's per hour. So
Yeah, but sometimes that's the wrong decision. Where you spend ages walking up and you just do a fly down, and you could have been tabbing in the right direction.
Yeah, but I'm going to cover this in my the next talk. But yeah, you're quite right. But flying's critical. I mean, you've got to be flying, and more so in the Alps. If you take a part in concert, you've got to be flying. So that's
Yeah,
it.
nobody goes on a hike and fly competition hoping for bad weather, do they?
No. But you are playing. But I planned for that, so that's why I trained so hard, and because I knew half an hour time, perhaps more, it's going to be on the deck. So aim off for that, and it pays off, because then I can cover all the bases. You see, I know I've got fitness, but I know I can fly too. So yeah, but flying is the critical one.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
What do you consider to be a threshold for what you would say is, like, you know, you're pushing your boundaries and your limits, and you think this is risky but is within my skill set, versus being dangerous? I think it's obviously quite a difficult grey area to navigate.
It's a really tough question to answer, and you've got to apply yourself to all that stuff, and we're all thinking pilots. As a coach, that's how we coach. So if someone asks you a question, "What do you think?" I say, "Well, what do you think?" And it's your call, and you have to, you know where you are, I guess, in your progression, and you have to make that call. And of course, I made a call, and I went through methodically in my head, even though I was pressurised by time. You know, I went through a thought process, and I thought, well, I thought, why do all this training if I'm not going to do it when I really need it? I need it now. I need this to work. And but again, I was thinking, well, about safety. You know, what you know, and you know, so you have to make that call. And I think you know your levels, because I knew my level, and my level was right for there. I had confidence, and I did the training. I did the hours, you know, and practicing. Occasionally getting the dragging, you know, occasionally getting it wrong. But I had the confidence and the courage, I guess, to do it and try it. And it actually worked beautifully. It came up like, all right, that was easy. All that worry, all that, you know, all that was pretty easy, that was. The hard bit was now start getting back to the sports ground. And that was really tough, because I was getting dragged by the wings, and that was really tough. But
surely the problem, John, is that you're making really critical decisions there, potentially life-threatening decisions, but you might be really tired. You know, you talked about when you hit that wall and you're, you know, suffering from hypothermia. You're not in a fit state to make good decisions there, are you?
So yeah, and that's it. And it's towards the end of the race, and I should have been tired, but I felt great. I felt strong. I mean, because all this training's paying off. You do hit little walls during the day, but then you come back out of it. And I got there, and I walked up Fairfield from the tarn at the bottom, and some guy tried to keep up with me. That was great, because I love pushing. Like, all right then, let's see how you do then. And he had no idea that I've been walking for 22, 23 hours already. And this young lad tried to keep up with me going up. I just felt strong. And so my mental agility was good, my physical fitness was good, and carefully. Because there's rocks all over. You know, I can't got a dragon. I'm going to take it. So it had to be right. And then I made a call, and it paid off.
So have you, looking back, obviously post-race, have you ever gone, I made the wrong decision, but I got away with it, obviously?
Yes.
Because I think that's the test, isn't it? When you look back and you say, did I make the right decision? Even if you get away with it, you kind of know you got away with it more by chance than good.
That's a yes. I mean, I can't, I won't try and bullshit. It's a yes. I think when we're all flying, we all get away with stuff, and then the Excosia last year was very challenging, and I thought I made the right calls, but then something else came into effect, and I might cover it later on if I have time. What the area was, the area that I missed, that made it an SIV course rather than a competition. But I got away with it. But I kind of got away with it because all that practicing wind control, I just knew instinctively, the brain knew what to do, like driving the car. You can drive the car with your eyes shut. And I just instinctively know how to keep the wing flying, and I think that helped a lot. And that's not, I'm not trying to big it up or show off. It's just training. It's just that I've done enough training, enough hours, and this is why X-Alps, you know, the European pilots so good. They've got the hours training, you know. Some of the better pilots in this country, the hours you put into it. And that's the key. But yeah, definitely, I've got away with it. Ironically, I trained during winter, and some of my worst near misses are in winter because of it's really dangerous flying in winter, and everyone's keen to get out flying. And very rarely I go out in winter unless I really, I want to do. The conditions are good because, especially in the mountains I'm talking about here, because of it just changed so fast. And I've been moving through the mountains and ridge soaring and trying to progress, and I'm getting blown back. And you've got to make a decision like that, boom, and if you make the right one, then you get away with it. Yeah, that's close. So you're right, yeah, that's a good question. Winter flying, just be careful.
Actually, you haven't meant, sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about supported and unsupported. Should they not, it is the rules that, should they not be on a level peg? If some flyers are...
Well, the rules are you can vol big or you can support, and it's a question that I'm running the X-Lates this year, and it's something I've talked with my team about, I'm going to look at changes and stuff.
Should there not be two categories?
Well, we do have two, but the big one is this trophy here. That's the overall winner. But we do have a vol big one. Other comps don't have that facility yet. We're a bit more advanced. So we do have a prize for vol big. But something I've looked in our website, for example, is I've got rid of racing. It's a challenge, it's an adventure, and that's our ethos. We want to push. It's a challenge rather than a race. It is a race, but we don't say that. It's a challenge. So it's an excellent challenge, and we've got 50 or more competitors already this year in both categories, and. Most people are there for an adventure. Like I was on that first one. I had a great time. I honestly tell you a great tale. I had a brilliant time. And that's what we're here for, to enjoy it for the journey. But myself, I want to challenge myself. So I want to be competitive. And that's what I've done here. I've become competitive. And it's great fun.
You do a lot of planning beforehand, and then when you start the race, you've got in your mind, this is the route I'm going to go on. How often in your experience with all the races you've done have you gone, oh, I'll make a change here, or do you stick to you?
It's a bad plan that can't be changed. However, we'll cover that in the next talk, because I did stick to a plan, because and it cost me you know, I should have probably won it, but I came third. But I'll talk about that later on. But you're right, you should change your plan A, plan B, and that's what you plan for. But then you've got to choose which plan you want, you know. But yeah, change your plan, because things can change so fast with the weather or with the terrain. It can change so fast. Any more?
Well, I was going to ask about weather, but if you're going to talk about that later on, because I mean there are different types of hike and fly races, aren't there? I know last year Ed's design of the X Dales was far more in terms of point bagging on peaks rather than having a set route. Which meant that weather was a really determining factor in the day.
Oh yeah,
the wind changed over the day. So if you'd done it the right way around, you could have got a lot more points.
And this is a skill, and we all know it. I don't cover weather, so I'm not going. It's a really tough topic, but anyone will tell you, and we all know weather is critical, and you've got to get it. You know, you've got to get it right. And I took part in the Dales this year, brilliant competition, but something I'm going to cover later. But the way I do it, just give you a bit of an insight, is I plan, and this is no shocker here, we all know it. You plan to be on launch at midday, and that's it. So, so you start at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and thinking, right, where can I get to for a launch? It could be in the Alps, it could be in the UK, it doesn't matter. But I'm planning to get a launch for midday, ready to fly, and I can do that now so accurately, because you've got a window to fly. You're going to do your most damage to the rest of the competitors by flying, and so if you get that wrong, you're not take off at midday. You're failing. I'm going to cover that little gem later on. So that's what we do. And the weather's so important. And the Dales, I got to Brankside midday, and I knew I was at the right flying site, and Mike Cav was there. So I thought, if he's there, I'm at the right site. But I've done a massive run already, clocked a load of points up, and got to Brankside. And there were all the Dales guys there too. All these must be about 15 Dales pilots, or, you know. So I thought, I'm at the right site here. So I tried the turn point, came halfway down the hill, and everyone sat out on Brankside. And then I said, why isn't no one flying? The sun's out, but it's like, why isn't no one flying? And then it wasn't working. And then, so eventually, I had to commit and flew over the top of like 15 people who were like, where's it come from? And then I had to continue on the, path back to the sports ground. But it didn't work. If it had worked, I'd have won. I'm sure I'd have won the X Dales. But I was in the right place, but the time was all wrong. It wasn't working. So, so predicting the weather. Okay, a winning mentality. That's part 1 done. My hike and flying journey and becoming competitive. In part 2, I'm going to talk about how to be successful using my special little formula I developed. This is a bit of advice I received from a friend of mine in 22 SAS. He said to me, and this was a young man, probably about 24, 25, he said to me, and I never forgot it, everyone must choose between 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I never forgot that, and I've used it as like a mantra. And what it's saying, if you put the hard work in, then you'll have no regrets. That's what it's saying to me. But you've got to put the hard work in. And that's what I've done here. Put the hard work in. Right, if you want to replenish your drinks, and we'll have, 20 minutes? 20 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah,
20 minutes. Cheers.
2, the Tri-Nations Championship. What is a Tri-Nations? A Tri-Nations is a combination of 3 hike and fly events, the XERI Wales, X-Scotia Scotland and the X-Lakes in England. The point system is based on the F1, and this came off one of the guys who was interested, who set it up and was interested in the F1 Formula 1. So 25 points for first, 18 for second, 15 for third. The highest amount of points over 3 events wins the championship. Okay, moving on then. Planning and preparation. So the initial prep was what we covered before. That is your basic blueprint for getting you ready for the competitions, and that's what we looked at in the first talk. So now detailed prep. So this is the stuff you start learning and picking up. So and applying on the ground. So logistics. So you've got to think about race logistics, transport, equipment, specialist equipment, rations and water. Okay, and ensuring all your instruments are fully charged. The amount of times I've been on takeoff with my mate Bud, Keith Patterson, and he got to the top, and oh, Westie, don't believe it. Oh, I got no power in my radio battery. In fact, it got that bad, I carry a spare radio battery, and in masking tape, I got Bud's name on it. There you are, mate. Oh, I'm sorry, mate, I keep letting you down.
You're only encouraging him.
It has been awful. I can tell some horror stories, but we don't have time. So yeah, so seeing basic all this is not here, and I can go into more detail, but it's all prepping it before you go, before you get there, making sure you've got everything ready, and that last one is so important. Okay, the next part of the detailed prep is the rules. Okay, learning what they are. So you get to your brief, and if you get it wrong, which has happened in the Scotia a couple of years ago, where Greg Chilton's porter got it wrong, and Greg lost points because of it back to camp, which you're allowed to do, but you lose points. So rather than becoming second, he came fourth. So, you know, learning the rules is part of that. You do all this training that I've done over the last 5 years, and you make a simple mistake by getting the rules, you know, breaking the rules and getting it wrong. The next one is start locations, okay, and finish locations. It seems basic, but know where they are, know where you're finishing. You might not be finishing when you started, so make sure you get this right. Scoring system. Critical timings. Okay, if you don't stop flying at a certain time and you're flying, you get disqualified or you get dot points. You know, so learn the critical timings, when you have to finish, when you have to stop walking, when it needs to be back where you were when you finished. Critical timings. Out of bounds areas. The amount of people that fall for this one. If you find these areas, you get a 2-hour, 3-hour penalty, or you can even get disqualified. So learn the out of bounds areas. Whether this is a massive topic, whether I'm not going to go into it tonight, but having what have I put here? Having a real good measure of the weather is crucial. So you can look at your system and you know how the day is going to play out. So I explained in one of the competitions that I did where I got this bang on, and it's critical. The terrain, okay, hopefully identify, flown and walked during your wrecking. Okay, but knowing the terrain you're competing on, it just gives you so much more confidence. Airspace, if you get this wrong, you'll be disqualified. So keep out of airspace. I remember once on the Erie, it wasn't really very flyable, I could see that. but I was going to use my footwork and push right down to this far area where I might be at a fine sea breeze along the ridge of mountains, but some airspace right on the side of it. So I asked the question, which was going to reveal my strategy if we could go into the airspace, and you could go into it. And Julie Swanson-Law, who was helping organise it, said, "You're not going down there, Westie, are you? You never get back." I went, "Oh no, just want to know about it." But know your airspace, because again, all that hard work, you can lose it all in an instant by violating the airspace. Okay, a detailed prep will give you most of the insight required for your plan. Okay, the plan. So this is what I work on, and ironically, the guys who have not seen this yet, this presentation that I've put together, the other top pilots, they have a similar system, and we did something with we're setting up a hike and fly boot camp, and we had a meeting, and Danny Starsmore, who's one of the leads on it, he's got a similar idea to this, but set out a bit differently. So this is this is the magic formula that's going to enable you to do well in these competitions, become successful. So what can realistically be achieved? Right, this is dependent on the weather conditions, map studies, and the recce and the hike and your hike and fly experience. So that's what forms out of there. What can realistically be achieved? Weather conditions, map studies, the recce, and your hike and fly experiences. So you can see there's a lot of information, isn't there? First of all, you look at the weather. Okay, yeah, this can be achieved. Look at the maps, how you're going to fly it. The recce that you've been on the week before, you get to know the area. All right, I didn't like that area. You know, you can. And then, of course, your flying experiences. What can you do? We're all at different levels. But what can you actually do? So that's the first one. What can realistically be achieved?
John, when you do your recce, have they declared the waypoints at that stage?
No, you're just recceing an area.
So how do you do it? Do you just drive around it? Do you try and fly as much as you can, or?
Yeah. So you walk it, you drive around there. If you can, you fly it. So what Buzz and I used to do was used to get the weekends that are working. Also flying it, you can get so much more information, and plus you find out where the house thermals are. That's what it's all about, you getting them thermals. So the Dragon was a classic. We went down there and flew 4 or 5 hours. It was a big triangle, and then you just learn the area and you just see down all the paths and the routes, Black Mountains, Brecon Beacons. And then, if you think about it, as an organiser of an event, you've got this area of the Black Mountains. There's only certain areas you can actually launch from.
So you can narrow it down.
Absolutely, and you use the club sites quite a lot too. So you know whereabouts it's going to happen. It's not really rocket science, it's just getting on the ground and thinking. It's a bit different in Scotland, it's a bigger area, but it's the same principle. You can learn so much and get an idea. Right, where are we up to? Okay, number 2, where do I need to be midday on day 1? So remember what we talked about before? So I'm looking and I'm thinking, right, so I want to be on takeoff, I want to be here. Okay, this information is gathered from the map studies, recce and the weather conditions. Alright, so that'll give you an idea, you know, where you want to be midday. That's a critical one, that. You've got to be, there's something that in analysis in the meeting last night I was at, where Danny talked about, you've got to be ready to fly because you've got a window. It's not rocket science. We all go flying, don't we? And what time do we meet? You get there for about 10:30, 11. You're ready to fly for about 11:30, 12. So it's the same with hiking and flying. You've got to get there at the right times because that window, depending on what time of year it is either 3 hours, 4 hours or 5 hours. That's all you've got. You know, unless you get an exceptional day like we had at the X-Lakes last year. So that's a critical one. Right, the next one then. Alright, how much, this applies to a lot of people, what they think about. How much walking will I need to do and is it achievable? So that comes down to your fitness. All that other stuff that you prep for over the years, you know how far you can walk. I can predict at the bottom of a hill in the Alps or here how long it's going to take to get up there. I can predict it within 5 or 10 minutes easily. I'm usually older too. And having that prediction, any hills in the UK, and Monroe, I'm looking at 2 hours to get up there, or 3,000 feet. I know I can be up there easily in 2 hours, if not before. And if it's distance like here, this is me, that's me there, that's the Rhinos Pass, well it's a hard knot pass. But I knew, from walking over from Limbo Fell where I started, I could get back to Boot in Westall in about 2 hours. I knew that. And I made it with about 23 seconds, 25 seconds spare, which is quite funny. Right, number 4 then. How far can I realistically fly? And this information is based on the weather conditions and of course your flying ability. The weather conditions is a huge one, of course. And in the UK, it's difficult to gauge sometimes, so having a real good feel of that weather and what's happening around you is so important. But of course, in the X-Lakes this year, I knew, I was chatting to Rod Welford who organised it, I said whoever flies well tomorrow is going to win this. What is it sort of be me? So I had to get everything right, I had to be on takeoff, I'll talk about it later on, at the right time. Then I had to get every next stage right, it's a massive flight I wanted to try and achieve. Where do I need to be placed ready for the next day? That's the next one. This is determined by the overall plan and your ability to predict your final resting place. This comes with hours spent hiking flying, unfortunately. But the more you do it, the more you can predict it. And then one of the things I'm going to talk about shortly, I got it absolutely bang on a 2-day event. Where do I need to be placed? Okay, next one then, other courses of action, plan A, plan B. Always have a plan A, plan B. Things can change quickly, and this is due to the nature of the weather and the terrain. So, sea breeze, etc. coming in and coming around the terrain and changing it. So, always have a plan A, plan B. And again, I had a plan A, plan B, but I stuck to my initial plan in one of the talks I'm going to talk about. Right, if the competition is a multi-days, then just keep repeating the formula until the final day. So you go back to one, and then you do it all again until the final one. Your race route will fall out of these questions. Once you have a firm plan, then you brief your support team. So the briefing is going to be talk through plan A and plan B. Explain your routes to him or them, where they need to be in the race area and when. So again, this is where you've got to have a real good grasp of what you're going to do. Any food, water or equipment they need to carry, and ask them for any questions. Okay, so that's your brief to your team, support team. So okay, it's no good having a support team. It's happened to me before. You start running out of food, and it's nowhere to be seen. And part of the nutrition thing I talked about before. Normally, I'll start by saying you can have the fastest car in the world, but if you don't have any fuel in the car, it won't go anywhere. So your support team needs to be briefed properly on where you're going to meet. And if you lose comms, where you're going to meet and what time. You can work this out roughly, especially out on the ground, but it can be worked out when you're flying too. Right. So these are the hike and fly events. That's the Tri-Nations emblem. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is Erie, or the Erie Eye. And this is the score system. I'll put the slide up to show you it. You can't see too well this week, but each area here is colour coded, and you get more points. So, Lambertus here is where you start, and your points here are 10 points, and it goes to 20, 30. But when you get down here, you're getting 125 points, but it's miles away. Really, with complex sea breezes, it's really hard to get to. However, if it's not flyable and you've got fitness, why not try it? And that was going to be my plan. So on this one, move it on. Again, it's not showing so well on here. I might have to have a look at these slides. So we started here. This red route here is my route. Now the weather was horrendous. Well, not horrendous, but it was difficult. We all started here, about 30, 40 competitors. Most people went up into this area here because it was blue sky. Over here we had a lot of mist and a lot of cloud, and the wind was coming in from this direction. So I looked at the plan, I looked at the weather, and it's going to be a bit flyable on day one, but day two it wasn't going to be flyable. So I thought, if I can fly down here and tag all these are 125 per tag, per point, and a bonus if you get them all. Now these here are 10, 20, 25, and so these are huge points. And we weren't going to be able to fly all this. Now, a load of guys at Tim Pentreve and loads of others went this way. Myself and Nick Holt, who was a very fit athlete, we went this way. Stevie Ashley, who was a very fit athlete, set off to run this way, saw me and Nick go that way into the cloud, and thought, what the hell? So he turned round, changed his plan and just followed us, because he didn't know what we were doing. But of course, Nick had the same idea as me. If I can collect all these, I'll win it. And I had the fitness. I put the effort in during the year, so I knew I could do it. And then, so that was my plan. And I thought, if a cloud broke, I can fly down Snowdonia here, tag all these, and fly down here, and make the crossing, which is going to be tough, and fly down here. I thought, if I get a chance, I get a window, I'll do it. However, I came over here, and it was cloud. So I ran down on the road. I thought the next opportunity was going to be down here. I can launch from here and do a crossing. So Nick Holt was so funny, because I was running over this pass here, and he kept running off fast, but then he kept getting lost. So I was taking the time, the tortoise and a hare, and then a few k's down the line, he would appear again from a flank. I went, where have you been? Oh, you know me, Westie, I can't navigate. And off he went again. So that was really funny. It just picked my morale up. But I got to the top of the pass, couldn't fly, and down on the road. But then I thought, I'm wondering what the strategy was, because I kept my strategy quiet this year, or last year, for the first time. Usually I share it all out, and this is what I'm going to think about doing. But I thought, and it was really exciting for me as a competitor not to tell people. So when people ask me, the year before, I got second, and I did all the 3,000 peaks. So a bit of flying, a bit of walking, and a bit of climbing. I climbed up Grim Goch and went along the ridge there, which was interesting. And then, so I said, yeah, the 3,000 ones, I got second. it isn't that flyable, you know, I might try that again. And that put everyone off. Oh yeah, okay, I might try it then. But really, I had it in mind I was going to do this.
What's the distance there from Lambros down to the southern point?
I'm bloody long way.
40, I mean, you're talking 30 odd 40k, aren't you?
You're talking 50 odd k's, yeah, more. To the bottom here where we went, you just see the yellow track. And so, but then the strategy was, Nick was going that way too, so I thought, has Nick got the same idea? I thought, yeah, he has. So now, you get a bonus to the further south. So I wanted Nick to be in front of me, but he kept getting bloody lost. So he kept, so he kept coming behind me, running by me, or so far they left me head off. He kept choosing daft paths. So he had this beautiful road to run down, and he chose a winding path by a river, like up and down and wide. And so it ran ahead, and I'm just remembering this, and now it's like, and so I stuck to the road, and I wasn't here, and I looked down, and Nick was down there, he looks up and shouts, yeah, I should have stuck to the road too. And then he was like, why? But I knew that I needed him to be in front of me, so now I had a challenge, what do I do? So Nick went direct down here, and I thought, well, I'm going to cut up here, target a few points here, and launch. And that way, Nick will get ahead of me. And then, no matter how far he went, I'll be able to see, and I'll just be able to go 10 yards further, and I'll bag another 100 points, which will mean that I'll win the competition. So that was important. However, it's a gamble, because now I knew I could do that in the time given, but now I'm delaying it deliberately, so I'm making it harder for myself. Alright, so anyway, so it's brilliant, because Nick had his supporter, I launched him up here, and he was down here climbing these mountains. And then his supporter said, Westie's in the air. So now Nick is panicking now, because he didn't know where I was. But I launched from here, did the crossing, and the sea breeze had come in, and it's pushing me this way. So it went from 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star here. And XC wise, I was just doing a massive XC, but I needed to get over to here. So it's really tough. So I did the crossing alright, got more, and it's taking me this way, it's taking me away from where I wanted to be. So what do I do? Do I fly down here and come in from this way, and then Nick will then get me 100 points and he'll probably win it? Or do I just keep pushing and try to get something down here? And that's what I did. I'm not sure it was the right decision, but going over here, you had pylons, you had trees, you had, it's just a quagmire of messy disaster. And then I started taking more risks, getting more, taking the thermal, and it's just pushing you away from where you want to be. And anyway, I made a call and go land. But now I'm in the middle of this, or just on this side of the valley here. So the strategy was paying out. Nick was about 2 hours ahead. That was good. But now I need to get moving, because time is running out. And I got a couple more flights down here, and then I finished sort of round about this area here, where I wanted to be. I can't even see it on here. Oh, yeah, maybe next slide. Yeah, I sort of finished there, and camped there the night. And then the weather totally changed. Storm came through, winds, rain, everything. So it was a really rough night. And just sorry there, my supporter took a while to get to me. So I was sat for 2 hours, exhausted, hypothermic, way beyond man hypothermia. Just sat there waiting for my supporter to find me in the pitch black. But anyway, he found me, and I'm still here to tell the tale. Okay, moving on, day 2 then. So this is a bit more clearer. So now I want to be down here, and the turn point here, what's that tag? You can see a little tail there, can't you? So I just ran further down, 10-20 minutes further than Nick, and took the 100 points. But that distance there is 2 hours. To get from where I camped up there and down was 2 hours. Nick flew off here in Tagneys and finished down here where I was to be. So that 2 hours I had to make up now. So I knew I could do it in the time parameters, but now I had 2 hours extra. So now I had to get my arse into gear. And there's no flying. So on the road, all the way up. I could have probably cut that corner off, but it was a bit more, you know, I decided to go this way. And I made my way back over the pass, back to Lamberris. I was 5 kilometres short. 5 kilometres short. And my time stopped there. Now, last year I've won it. This year, new rule came in. Remember the rules? Got to study them. A new rule came in, and it said if you don't make goal for every kilometre, you'll lose 50 points. So I lost 250 points. Bear in mind, most of the competitors never got anywhere near 250 points. You know, and I was losing 250 points because I was 5k out. And that's because I couldn't make that time up. So the gamble I took didn't pay off. That's where these are all routes of some of the other people. You see them come down here, and me and Nick were the brown and green. You can see I was a green. You see how far we come. And people, it was a long way to go. I covered about 120 kilometres on the ground. Although it's tough going, especially on the road, but I never hit any walls, and that's it. That was a lot of running in that competition.
But the 250 is still only 2 turn points to long.
Nick got it, but if you see my score, I got 1,500, he got 1,004, but I lost 250. If you go down here to, they're only scoring 250, 260, you know, so I've lost that, and I'm the only guy to lose. But I had a gamble, it didn't pay off. But it's still a brilliant competition, and I was so happy with, my fitness levels. I couldn't believe it. 51 years old, and then I'm able to do that. So I'm really chuffed where I got to. But yeah, that was a shame. That, but still, I was second, and pretty good score there. 1, 2, 2, 5. I think I got 1, 4. I think so. But I was just picked and didn't get that time. And I had the fitness to get there. And if I could have flown that final bit in, I'd have made it. But I couldn't fly. So it went against me. But that was the ERI. So I managed second place on that one.
Quite nice to lose more points than Tim Penreath scored, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listen. But great competition, and the strategy there was a big one. Really enjoyed that little game we had with everybody, and other people were doing it too, so it's really interesting to see how it played out. Excursion, so this has been Kintail, massive area here. Got the Isle of Skye over here, Fort William down here, so huge areas to play in. These are all turn points, these are all long rows, so all big stuff. Start is over here, and you can finish is over here too. Right, so this is the perfect plan that I talked about. There's a big decision here, and of course I had anxiety. I had this massive plan, and I was down, I was down this end of I was down here, and I had to get back to here. And I thought, what have I done? I've flown out here, you start doubting yourself, so the anxiety was there. Is it going to be, have I got it right? Have I got the weather right? So they're the big things. So the perfect plan, the way it panned out. And I'm really sorry, it's not showing up well on this projector, but so that's a start. And we walked up here, and we sort of took off here, and there's a group of us who got going, and then we got stuck here for about an hour. And this is something was talked about last night in the analysis of another race, the Dragon Hiking Fly we did a few years back. And something that came out was patience. Don't rush. Be patient. So I got stuck here for probably over an hour, and people were moving on. But you know, it took the time. I landed a few times. You can land, you see, you know. And I was getting. Anyway, I sussed it out at the end. And a lot of hiking flying is working out, sussing out sort of the game of chess, trying to work it out, this Rubik's Cube, you know, and this is where Ed Cleaseby's challenges are so good, and I did a lot of training with them on them things that I set up, because it challenges you, you push yourself, you have to work out how you're going to get to that turn point. And I worked out eventually, I just had to jump over the back, go on a death glide to here, and this thing was working, and I boomed up to this height here, like. And then, so, I started here. The plan was, on day one, to land here, in this area. Not exactly there, but in this area here. So, day one, boom, off I went. So the crux point, call it crux point last night, the big decision I called it, was over here in the boonies, loads of turn points to get. If you went that way, you're probably going to win it. So I was firming out with Greg Chilton, who did win it, and I could have gone that way. Plan B was going that way. Plan A, I just got all romantic with the plan, and I wanted to see if I could do it. So I was there, you know, 6-7 grand, and I thought, what am I going to do? Then Greg went that way. I went, what am I going to do? I went, right, I'm going to do the plan, because I just felt it was going to work, and I could still win, because you know I just felt I could do it. So I went for it, and I pushed up here, and then I did the crossing down here, and got on here. Now the sun is shining up here, you know, so all this is going to be working. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be booming. So before you asked me about the question about risk, this here, in my mind, if I just drop onto here, sunny side, you know, southwesterly faces, I'm going to be booming up, flying this ridge, and I'm going to be flying over here to where I want to get to for a turn point, and hopefully landing here or continuing down here. And then, so dropped, I could have flown over here, so I see breezes come through now, and then, it was a mistake. So sea breeze come through here and made this into a mini SIV. All the way, see how long I roughed it out for. This is 10 more kilometres where it was constant SIV, where I thought I was going to get driven into the ground, into these long rows of massive mountains. And there was hundreds of deer down here, and I was spooking them. They were barking at me or squealing at me, depending on their sex. And they were triggering pheromones. And then these pheromones came up and they hit me like a rocket, you know, and threw me around. And this is what we were on about in the question before. I just could keep this flying. And even though it was, you know, I won't lie to you, you know, I was bricking it. It was a scary, you know, but I knew if I could hook up to a pheromone, I'd be fine. I just get on this ridge and fly down it. So I just kept on trying, and I was getting, I was getting lower and lower and lower, and then I'd get something, and then it would throw me around, and I'd have a massive collapse, or try to drive me into the, and I just had to keep it flying, and I missed the turn point here. And I needed that turn point to win. And another mistake, stubbornness. So I climbed out here, which I don't know, is it this one here perhaps? I climbed out, and I pushed back to get a turn point. I lost my height. Back into another SIV, it's like, what? And I used a mistake, and so I continued down, I climbed back up, landed in a big sort of amphitheatre here, and by this time I was absolutely exhausted with mental fatigue. I thought I just got to land. So I landed and missed the opportunity. I should have left that alone, and I've climbed out here, I've flown down here, probably got some off here, pinned over here. My life would have been easy, but I needed that turn point. I knew Greg would be collecting all them, so mistake, I made a mistake. So I walked up here, and then I'd fly down here, walked up here, and the sea breeze was pushing up here now, and all was dynamic. So I flew here, jumped over the back, landed down here, and then tapped to here, and that's where my time finished. But the plan still worked. I think I missed turn point there and a turn point there, which is 45 points I lost there and there. But other than that, the plan that I dreamt up, I did it. So I was really happy. But now I was as far away as you can be from the from goal. But again, I knew that the next day, if the weather was somewhere right, I could fly back. I knew that I could do that, because that comes with experience and confidence and flying ability. Over quite a few years now of hiking flying. So that's why I was camped out there and got absolutely annihilated by midges. I had a little baby bag because I was lightweight, and I woke up in the morning and it's like a film of midges it's awful, just everywhere. And I had to wash them all off in the time where I slept that night, but midges were horrendous. Next morning, cold, and there's a huge inversion, so anything was getting pushed down, and your visibility is 50 odd feet, something like that. So I started walking, and so going back to the plan, going back to the questions, where do I need to be midday? So I need to be on these Monroes here. This is where I need to be. I want to be there. So I walked up this Monroe. Oh no, sorry, I want to be here, this Monroe here. So in the fog here, it's just beautiful. It's just, you walk up the mountains, and deer cutting around, and there's all sorts. It's just absolutely stunning. And then I walk through the inversion, and you get all these beautiful mountains, got some gorgeous pictures, and you look over, you got Ben Nevis in the far distance, and you got all these little peaks that are poking through the clouds, absolutely stunning. So he's big smiling, jogging and walking. So I needed to be flying midday. So I had the option of trying to fly from here, but I didn't want to risk it because it wasn't windy. I didn't want to risk it, so rather than flying, I dropped back down and walked up another Monroe. So that's where your fitness comes in. But I knew it's critical I'm flying at the right time because I had to do this crossing here. This is a massive crossing, and that was a crux point. That was critical. I made that crossing. To do that, I need to be flying, I need to be high. So I couldn't rush it. So I walked up here, and there's a young woman camping. It's a yellow moon. It's that time last year we had this yellow moon. It's beautiful. And she camped out and walked up there to view it. And she had this beautiful, she was blown away by it. And I walked up. She went, "Oh, hello." "Oh, hello." And said, we got chatting. And then she said, where are you going? I said, "Oh, I've got a king tail." And she went, "Oh, well, that's a long way away. How are you getting there then?" I said, "I'm going to fly there." And we had this discussion, and she was like, "Wow, that's amazing." Anyway, so I set up ready and waiting for competitions. It started to work. The little clouds were starting to just pop off a little bit. But the timing is everything, so I just waited. And then I launched about 12 o'clock, maybe 20 past, 12. And then I did the crossing. I got higher here, I went to this ridge, got a bit higher, and off I went, committed to it. And I just got over, I just got here and sort of flopped over, and then boom, done.
And the cloud below you gone by then?
Pardon?
The cloud below you, had that gone?
Yes, inversion, I gradually burnt off and gone. It was a stunning, and a friend got a gorgeous bit of footage of it, beautiful. I'll try and find it later if I have time. You know, so now I'm flying. So now I can sit now, it's critical, I need to be flying. And it was gorgeous, brilliant. And then, you know, the sun was shining this way, coming this way. The sea breeze was also going to be coming up here, so, you know, I had to work fast. And then, you know, I was like, this is going to be easy, I should be able to tag loads of stuff here and get back, you know, and just crossing here. And this ball here was cooking. I thought, I'm going to go in there, that'll be cooking, that's just what I need. There'll be some great thermals in there. Here, it was like windward, the wind was coming this way, and then it would be easier going that way and moving up. So I went into here thinking, that's going to be beautiful, really powerful thermal, that'll get me up to cloud base. My God, it was another SIV. You know, it was too hot, it's too powerful. I guess it was a mistake, I made a mistake. But my brain was saying, in that bowl, it's a cooking pot, it'd be great for thermals. That's what my mind was saying, I've got a leeward thermal. And I got in there, and I just got slammed around. And it got to, again, a bit like the day before, I nearly got slammed into the ground, into the ridge. A couple of times I thought, no, I've got to land, it's too dangerous. And I landed. But now I'm losing time, so I had to pack up, walk back round here. And this is a massive Monroe of cliffs. So you're launching from a small area with rocks everywhere, massive drops, and you're going, oh my God, you know, this is awful, you know, and then I'm going to get this up and flying and launching without, you know, injuring myself. So, you know, snagging, you know, lines were snagging, and the great thing about the Zeo light is that you can have it in a little ball almost, and just zip it up really fast. So I did that, and I launched, and I thought, I can't make any more mistakes, because it's going to cost me, you know, might even cost me more. Anyway, so I launched, got off there, it was, and then I started flying, and Steve McIntosh was stuck here, and when I came around here, he was about giving up, he couldn't launch, it was just too difficult for him. And he saw me come over, it gave him confidence. And so when I walked around here, Westall's fallen down there, so I should be able to fly off there. And there was a turn point here, and time was sort of ticking. And I thought, do I get this? I'm probably not going to win now anyway, and I want to get back, and I want to find it a goal. So I decided not to get it, and it made sense, you know. And I flew around here, landed here on this side. Sea breeze coming in now, so it's really tricky. You know, a lot more to think about and look after yourself. A lot of rotor because you're behind massive mountains. So I had like loads of time. I thought, brilliant. So I walked around here, and I thought I'd do a top to bottom and then flying to go. So everyone else was on the deck, and they were running down all these little things and on the roads going back. So I laid out on this beautiful little plateau. I'm going to do an alpine launch, and it was lovely. I mean, like all the SIV courses I did down in line here, all the tricky takeoffs, I had this beautiful, this luxury of taking the time. It was beautiful. And so I did an alpine launch, and I flew it to go, and it was stunning. And then, of course, sea breeze was coming down here, and Andy Housen, he knew got blown into some buildings and near miss for him. So I came down and did a few turns, because see it was windy. I'd give myself a massive margin. So I turned into wind, came to land, and I was getting blown back, full bar, I was getting blown back slightly. But I just lost the height and down, and it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And then that plan, you could do that, I planned to do that, and I executed it. So that's my best flight, although I didn't win it, I came third, 350, but I lost. I think I worked out, if I got all 2 points I wanted to, with only 3 that I missed, I would have won by 5 points. So even though Greg went out there and collected all of them, I still couldn't beat him. With a little bit of luck, you know, or a little bit of better flying. But what a flight. So I did, from top to bottom, what I set out to do. And that's why it's so good. And when you get to that level, it's just satisfying. You know, I dreamt that up, and I did it. I made it work. So that was brilliant. That was one of my favourite flights. However, X-Mates last year, wow, this is something else. I mean, you don't get many days like this. I'll just give you a little taste before I go into it. It was about 5:30, and I had a bit of a gamble to cross a huge valley. You know it well, from Souter over to Barking Fell, or Pillar Bridge, and I got a thermal to about 8.5 grand at about 5:30. Like, what? That never happens. That's a bit of a taster. So again, same format as before. So there are the 2 routes there, day 1, day 2. So that's day 1. So here we've got Grasmere. The first flight here, Lynmoor Fell, which is the flight that we saw before when it's showing it in from the drone. And these are the Coniston Mountains. Now, I knew I had the fitness, so I got a Wainwright in Lynmoor, I got Silver Howe, and then always here, Greyfriars, Weatherland, Downcrag, Swale Howe. I knew I could run it. I knew I had enough time to get to takeoff by 12. So I could afford that. I could afford them tag always here and save myself a lot of effort. But I had the fitness, so I thought I'm going to do it. Then I just concentrate on the bigger picture. I got to take off and set up ready to go at 11:50. So again, bang on time. I watched me ready to fly at 11:50. Bang on, midday. And that was from all that running and a little flight. So from about 7:30, from 10 to 12, I was ready to rock and roll. And now, this bit was critical, getting all this right, these bits right. So I knew I could fly it. I've done it before, I've flown the bog rail, I've done the 3 peaks a few times. I know the area well, I've got the local knowledge over a lot of competitors. I sort of knew how to do it, I knew where the crux points were. So I had a lot of confidence. I just needed to execute it, and that was the key to it. And that's what the other guys asked me, what was your secret? And it's being patient and not rushing. And that's the secret to this. So what I did, I launched midday, perfect timing. And guys were ahead of me, guys were behind me. But you forget about them, because it's not that sort of race. You're bagging turn points. So I've done the first bit. I got to where I wanted to be. Now I had to fly it. And when Doug and I always talk about dream scenario. So on this one here, I wanted to be finishing the day here. That's why I aimed to be finishing. And that was, Bud would say that would be a dream scenario. So if I could be there, camping here, day 2, I'll come down the Helvellyn Ridge and come back in. And then maybe if it's flyable, I can push out here and get a few over here. So off I went, and there's people everywhere. Some guys came from Europe, and I think James Day too, they collected the smaller point system. So you had 10, 15, 20, 25. If you go out to these, you get 25. So my plan was a bigger picture. Now, we've got a system called half track that Andy Reid set up, so you can actually watch it live, and the point system changes automatically, so it's really good for me to monitor too. And I remember my partner, I spoke to her later on, I said, she looked at it, I was down 13th or 14th, 15th, and she thought, oh bloody hell, I was never going to win this. But I had a bigger picture, you see. So those European guys thought they'd collect all these, and it's a good bet too. Collecting Landale, you get loads of points what are all close together. But I had a bigger plan, because I knew, looking at the day, looking at the weather, I knew there was more to be, lots to be achieved here. And so I had a bigger picture. So I was down mid-table, and then I started collecting and going out here, Starfell, slight side, if you know this area here. So pushed out. This is a crux area. Round here you've got sea breeze coming in here, sea breeze coming in here. And Great Gable is a mountain which you have to give a lot of respect. And I never like flying around there. It's always turbulent, it's always twitchy, it's always difficult. And so I wanted to fly over that high. I didn't get as high as I wanted to, but I got a good 1,000 foot above Great Gable. Then pushing down here, I thought it was going to be tricky, because the sea breeze mixing. So, and it was, you know, it was testing. But then I slowed right down here because I could see the convergence building coming up the valley. So this is Buttermere, Bassingthwaite and Buttermere. So I needed to slow down. So I deliberately slowed down here to wait for this convergence to build coming over Buttermere. And that paid off huge, because lots of people were landing out and getting low, so I waited, collecting loads of turn points trying to get collect. And so I collected them, and then the idea was I'm going to come back up to like Fleetwood Pike area, and come down here as far as I could dare. But in actual fact, I thought I could just cross the Ennerdale Valley, which is this one here, and then come back up. And this is Dale Head, Fleetwood Pike, Hollister Pass here. And then I got over here, and then you see I'm like just collecting all these tokens up. I'm like, this is great. Gamble's here, this is blue sky here. There's like a big blue hole around here. And this takes down sort of to Barrow, and then back up to, you know, got the name of it, Drysdale Pike, etc. So there's a massive area here, tons of things to collect. So I came down here in blue sky, but I knew I'll get low, I'll just come back up, and I'll get back up again because the convergence is working. And I just got to see it's got all red because it was super high and moving super fast. Then down here, convergence coming in, critical point here, crossing over. Again, had to wait, so convergence coming down here. I got low down here and boomed up again and got skid on. Some of the guys went behind the back here, but for me, it hadn't built enough. I couldn't gamble, so I came around here to Skiddaw and down to Latry. So listen, I didn't know what was going on here. So we had 10-15 pilots on Jenkins who weren't flying. Why not flying? You know, I was at Cloudbase, and I came getting lower, and I got to here, I looked over at Belize, and there's like 25-30 pilots all laid out, but not doing anything. And what are they doing? And it occurred to me, it's not working. It's working out in the valley. So I came out over Keswick, got low over Latry and over Keswick, and boomed up. It's working in the middle of the valley. And everyone was just sat there waiting for it on Jenkins and Belize. So I came out, I just got Cloudbase, I flew over, and Gary Stenhouse was there spitting feathers at me. He was on the deck and going, wow, I see what's going on. And he was telling me, but it wasn't working.
And you were on his wing at the time?
Yes, and I was on his wing at the time, of course. So I've got massive height here, and that video footage shows that before I start this talk, when it showed on different angles, and this Firmament was with Steve Ashland. Now, we sort of got round Frelkeld here, and Steve decided to fly down here. But I was looking out here. This massive crossing here, I was looking at that. Now, Pete Make and Greg Chelton were hovering around, but I had local knowledge, and these guys kept pimping my ride. They kept on following me, but I wanted to lose them. So Steve went, and I couldn't see anybody, but I knew we were about somewhere. So I got over here, and I thought, there's a suitor here. I thought, do I do this crossing here? If I do this crossing, you know, I'm going to win this competition, because you've got to be flying. So that's in the back of my head. I could go down here, but then I'm going to get stuck. I need to be in these big pointers over here. So bear in mind, perfect scenario, I'll be landing here. Now I was at £6,000 over Suter, thinking, do I do it? And I can see it building here, but it's a gamble. What do I do? What do I do? Anyway, I thought, I'm going to do it. So I commit, and I get a massive sink, 5 meters per second. I'm thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I said, oh, trust it, keep going, keep going. So 5 meters per second, I was just diving down. And then I slow down, and then I hear a beep, and another beep, and another beep. And the next thing, I'm at £7,000. Like, what? What's this all about? And then I go another glide, and then, I get another thermal. I'm at £8,000, £8,500, at about 5:30 in the lates. Couldn't believe it. Huge height. And I'm like, I've got it. I look behind me, Greg Chilton popped over from here, and Pete Macon came around here, saw him making the crossing, doing the hard work, and they picked my ride and followed me. So they followed me across here, but I had a much better transition. I was over here, but oh wow. But with Jail's finishing, I could see that, and I had to try and think, now, lots of turn points here, what's my best route, where shall I go? And I saw some convergence coming from, I think here, coming my way. I thought, could I hook up that convergence and fly back to here? I mean, that was money. So I thought I'm going to head that way. So I came this way, picking, but it just didn't build quick enough for me. I ended up landing here. So from when I took off to when I landed here, this is High Street. I spent about 6 hours in a mild state of hypothermia because I dressed thinking I'll never be flying for that long, and I can survive a few hours with hypothermia. That's fine, because obviously my weight is down to bare minimum. That's clothing too. So all this here, I was shivering. And when I got to £8,000 over here, I was shaking, absolutely shaking. But it didn't matter because I was where I wanted to be. I can hack a bit of cold. But yeah, I mild hypothermia for the whole route round. I got here and I landed. I could feel the feeling coming back to my fingers. It was so painful. Oh my God, I'm in so much pain. Nobody nearly crying. And it takes 5 minutes to defrost and you're in pain. But it's great because I spent 5-6 hours sat around in a harness and I was cold. So guess what? I had all that energy to expel. So from there to here it took me 3 hours. So this is High Street, and this is Doug's Reservoir. So this is Trout Bay. So I did that in 3 hours. I had a little dog leg there too. In 3 hours, and I got here right to where I wanted to be. The supporter rocked up, and at 9 o'clock. So it finished right where I wanted to be at 9 here. So yeah, it was an amazing flight.
Not a bad day's work, is it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just blown away. I just keep smiling, and when I finished up, this was like here, I was trying to process. Have I really done all that? Did that really happen? It's like a dream almost, because it's so rare. Alright, quickly day 2 then. So start point, so hike and fly, my support came up. I came back to Grasmere, camped there the night, shook out, got dropped off. and went back to Troutbeck. First fight of the day, crossing across Kentmere, this is Kentmere Valley, Kentmere Water there, and I started tagging always. And this was a frustrating day because there was rain showers, and when I set up to fly, it started raining, and it looked like it's really hard to predict. So I wanted to be flying from here. This is across Red Screens, but I couldn't have to walk up Red Screens, it's a massive hill, and then I came round to here thinking I could fly, but it was raining again. And there's a cat and mouse going on now, so I went from first to second to third with Greg Chilton and James and Steve leapfrogging me. But I kind of knew if I could tag all these on foot, I was still probably going to win. But James and Steve so good. And he started flying, and he started clocking up all these. I didn't know if I was going to do it. I kept having bad luck. And I got around the Fairfield horseshoe, and then you see here where it goes red, where I start flying towards the end. So I got around here, no comms, so I didn't know where I was, no signal, so I couldn't see where I was on the leaderboard. And I knew last time I looked, I was down in third. But now I've caught a load of Wainwrights here, so I'll launch, and then I get on the phone to my supporter, who was in the sports ground here. I said, Darren mate, what's going on? What's going on, mate? He went, oh, Westie, where have you been? I went, yeah, I'm, mate, what's going on? Where am I? Oh, you're first, mate, you're winning. I went, oh, brilliant, mate, where's James and Steve? I went, oh, don't worry about James and Steve. Not to worry about, where's he at? Westie, don't worry about him, mate. I said, but where's he at? Well, he's right by me. You can't score any more points and you're winning. I went, why did you say that then? I went, I did do. I went, oh, brilliant. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could have tagged more points. So I went down here, flew down here, tagged, that's Fairfield up there, I think, tagged one down here. I could have gone over Dog Wagon, Hell, Vellum, crossed over, tagged a load around here and fall back in, probably, if I wanted to, but I didn't need to. Because, you know, I had it in the bag, and plus, it was getting windy here, there was all sorts of stuff coming through, making it difficult, so I just thought I'd come in and land. And that was the end of that. But another well-executed plan, much more than I thought, in fact, but I knew it would be good. And there we are, that's the final scores there. So dangerous, see how close he got to me? You know, so he's right there. He got more Wainwrights than me, but of course, I went for the bigger picture, you know, that day, rather than collecting the small points. He got over half of the Wainwrights, and you know, I got 101, but mine were bigger ones, bigger scoring ones, and that's what won it for me. So, again, going back to your flying ability, knowing what you can do, and then, you know, and then applying yourself and doing it, having the courage to do it, and picturing it. But always, I mean, James, Dave, Greg, Steve, Pete, Andy, you know, this is a test pilot, Carl Spragnell, and then, but we're all, you know, good pilots, you know. There's some, you know, like Ben, for example, and Alan came second in Scotia. Liam, brilliant pilot, and he said to me, Westie, I couldn't stay up, I couldn't get high, you know, and so is it a fickle sport, wrong place, wrong time, or does he not play competition properly? I don't know, but, you know, Dave Ross, you know, good pilot. So, Andy Reid, again, he came second in my first hike and fly. In fact, no, Hospital Fair actually, Andy got injured, that was in. But yeah, you know, so it's a bit fickle, in sport, there we have it. So then, Tri-Nations then, that's how it panned out. So 3 events, I got a first, I got a second, and I got a third. So either Greg never finished, or he notes either he never finished or he got disqualified or whatever. Again, going back to your planning, you know, you do all this work, if you get disqualified, you know, it could be costly. So that's how it all finished. I think there was about 22 took part in the Tri-Nations, and that's how it panned out. So that's that. Any questions?
Brilliant. Wow. Well, we should give you a hand first.
So what's next then, John?
Well, I'm running the XLX this year, so I'm not competing. I'm going to take part in the Dragon. I haven't won that yet, I come second twice, so I might try and do that. I'm going to take my Xeno 2 out on that one though, for gives me a better glide, of course, and more performance. So yeah, I'm starting more with the committee in Cumbria, and I'm going to support people. So we're setting up a British team, hopefully eventually. It's a boot camp at the moment, and we're going to try and get funds off of BHPA, so that's another big project that I'm involved with, and we're going to start bringing the next generation through. We've got some brilliant pilots, Andy Housen, Alan Style, we've got Jacob Aubrey, a local guy, he's going to be an amazing athlete and pilot. But as you said before, the cost of it, the travelling, we need help, we need funding, so we need to get some structure and then get some funding, sponsorship hopefully, and then we can look at a way we can get British pilots. Buddy and I always thought we'll try and do the Xperia or maybe the X-Alps, depending where we get on our, but we're going to do it as a experience, that's it. Because you can't compete with these guys, you know, they're living in the Alps, they're flying in the Alps all the time. They've been flying since we were children. You know, I've been flying for 8 years, you know, I can't compete against them. But I can have an experience. What we want to do is get some British guys who can compete. And so we've got to have a start point. So that's what we're doing now, setting that up. Yeah, so we're going to work a little bit with diversity, because in this room tonight, you know, we've got one lady, all the rest are white male. So we're going, you know, we're going to look at improving that. So that's going to be another project. That sort of was seeded by our new chairman at Cumbria. He said, he just posed a question: what about women in our sport? And then, you know, so I thought, oh, that'd be a nice challenge to look at. So that's what I'm going to start looking at, diversity, and see if we can improve that and do something about that too. It's a massive topic, though, but that's something. It's going to be a 10, 15, 20 year project, and hopefully I'll still be around by then to see something happen. So yeah, loads going on. Running the XLX is a massive project, but I've got a team of about 12 people helping me, so that's brilliant. So lots to be doing, and the club, of course, like yourself, working with the chairman, putting on training, putting on talks like this, putting myself out there to promote, and you know, encourage people to dip the toe in the water. Anybody in here fancy trying it? Hiking flying? Going on a journey? It's a brilliant journey. I mean, 5 years I've had, it's gone like that, man, it's gone. 5 years, where's that gone? And for me, it's sort of come towards the end of my realistically being fit enough to compete. But what a journey, you know, winning is only a very small part of it. I do set out to win. I set out to be competitive and have an adventure. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What's that? The famous saying, isn't there, about the Olympic Games? It's something like, it's not about the winning, it's about taking part. It's not about in life. It's not about the triumph. It's about the struggle. And that's great. And that's what this journey's been about. It's been hard work. It's been a lot of commitment. It's been a sacrifice. But the return has been unbelievable. And inside I'm smiling like mad because, you know, it's a brilliant journey to do. You don't do it all in overnight in 1 year. It's took 5 years adding to it, and eventually I was lucky enough to peak out and win 1 or 2 comps, but what a journey. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the hike and fly,
Not having a go at different things, maybe not at this level, but yeah, just dipping my toe in.
yeah, you'll do it.
Go for it, Tom.
And go on the journey. And there's a hike and fly boot camp I've just been talking about. We've got a group, so join that, and there's tons of information on there, about equipment, about training, and there's a lot of discussion with all the best pilots. Danny Starsman, Greg Chilton, Steve Ashley, Nick Holt, we're all on there. And when people put a question out, one of us is answering it, so you're getting good intelligence, you get good, you're getting on tap advice from people who have done it. So yeah, get involved, and it gets very addictive. Any more questions?
I can say that at BHPA level, this is recognised as being one of the expanding areas of membership. It's the one thing, the one aspect of our sport that's really increasing in popularity.
Yeah, for sure. And we're in dialogue at the moment, but we need to start setting up structure, and that's where we're at the moment.
And the military have taken it on big time. Down at Crickhowell, because it's for everything they want to achieve.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah. Well, Damien's reached out to me, so I've got Damien Forson, who's the Armed Forces hike and fly guy. He wants to work with me, and he's going to develop that side of it and help us out too. So there's going to be a bit of cooperation.
Isn't it incredible that we all go abroad to go paragliding because of the weather?
Yeah.
And the Europeans are coming here to take part in hike and fly. What's going on there?
It's great, isn't it?
Who'd have thought?
Great. Yeah. It's evolving. When I started, 9 people. We're looking over 50 people, and this hopefully is going to be building year upon year upon year. So, and again, we can start developing people. So it'll be brilliant.
Brilliant.
Any more questions?
Well, no, I was just thinking, because the ex-Dales one, I know Ed's numbers are rising in popularity for that too.
Yeah.
But thinking of your Formula 1 formula for the Tri-Nations, surely you could expand that to all the other ex-Dale.
There's all sorts going on in the background, and I don't have time to talk about it tonight, but yeah, looking at doing a 7-day event in the UK. So that's Ali Andrews looking at, but there's perhaps there's criteria to meet, and I don't want to go into it now, but there's all sorts of things to sort out, but it is expanding. When I started, you had I think the Dragon had just started going, the X-Rates started, and then that's all we had, and now we've got the X-Rates, we've got the XE, we've got the Scotia, we've got the Dales, and we've got the Dragon, so now we've got 5 competitions, and so yeah, it's expanding well. It's good.
That's incredible.
It's good to see. Okay then, being successful in hike and flying events requires consistency. To be consistent, planning preparation is an essential part of your hike and fly skill set. Tonight I've talked about the blueprint to become a successful hike and fly competitor. If you apply yourself using this framework, it will give you the edge over the other competitors, as it did for me. And maybe you may win the Tri-Nations Championship, as I did. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.